Kicked off here and say welcome to everybody who has made time to be with us today. Thank you very much. This is our regularly scheduled office meeting where we talk about the things going on in and outside of the office with each and every one of you, and we make big announcements. So I'm going to make an announcement that was made to me yesterday, and I'm sure John must already know, but if this comes as a surprise to you, John, I'm really sorry. But Brian, my boss, our regional senior vice president, has taken another position with Prosperity Home Mortgage, which is where he came to us from, and so he is no longer the senior vice president for the Hampton Roads region. And that position will be filled by a longtime, fantastic broker out of Long and Foster office in Richmond, Dawn Bradley. So I have not yet had a chance to speak with her one-on-one, but I'm excited to do that. And so I have a new boss, and it's really exciting. So we'll see what kind of new things might come down the pipe from having someone new in that role and in that position. So John, I'm guessing you knew this was coming.
Yeah, I knew. It was always a long-term plan. I mean, the time frame was never specified. But when Brian took over, I don't know if some of you were here at the time when Brian took over, but we had just, Scott Shaheen was a long-time VP of the area. He left abruptly and basically took a bunch of other brokers with him to start his own company. And they're left kind of it was all of a sudden, so they didn't have time to transition. So Brian had been with Prosperity in a role of basically an area manager. So kind of the level that my boss is for Prosperity for, I don't know, 10 years at that point. And he obviously was familiar with the Richmond area, and they went, asked him to take the role. He didn't, go to Long and Foster, but they approached him and he accepted to do it with the idea that it wasn't forever. It was kind of but he's grown to, excel at the role, love the role. He obviously has established relationships with everybody, and he's gotten to know everybody. So I know it's hard for him to transition. I think it was just the right time for him to do so. He was, it's tough, tough for me, obviously, to know that was happening in the background, and not say anything, but it's kind of something that's personal to him, and I know that he'll still be involved because he's going to be effectively my boss's boss at Prosperity. So he'll still be involved, he'll still be around, which would be great. But he was involved in the handpicking of Dawn Bradley to kind of succeed him in that role. So we all know Dawn really well. She's a great leader. She's been in the company for a long time. So I think everyone's comfortable with that position. And we definitely wish him the best. I wish Dawn the best. And it's all good things for everybody.
Absolutely. Really happy for everybody involved in that transfer or transition. And I'm excited to see what comes next. So very cool. Yeah. So Brian, how are things at Sage Title Group, my friend? I know you guys are over there probably pulling your freaking hair out, trying to get things closed as quickly as you can.
Yeah. Hi. So happy June, everybody. Man, May was a whirlwind. I tell you what, I wrote down just before I came on this call, 17 agents, 17 transactions from the office there, which is amazing. I don't think we've had that many buyers and sellers. So first off, I want to say thank you for everybody that helped us out. And I'll tell you, I'll just mention some names here. If I forgot anybody, please let me know. But we started out Marvella, that was way back. It seems like forever in the first week of May, and Kelly Foster, Kalita, I believe that was her first transaction.
It was.
Josh, I tell you what, Josh, you hit it out of the park. I don't know if you're on there, but I've got you down for 3 for this month. Jason, I had you down for 2. I know it would have been more. but that's a whole nother thing we're working on. Jason Rollins and Jason Everett, I saw you guys twice, which is great. Michael Gray, Evelyn, Soren, Sandy, Sheena twice. I mean, that's amazing. Let me tell you, that is amazing. So my hat's off to y'all. I want to do the Top Golf. I'd like to get a date in, if September's too far, or October. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
I guess I haven't thought about it recently. So, I mean, it's something that we should probably start looking at though. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
So,
because that's we want to definitely do that, and you know, we're hoping we can get back to person again, you know, in person again, and do some, you know, I know we sent out this, thanks Stacia for sending this out, another CE class coming up on signing authority. And I tell you what, we get a lot of questions on who needs to sign. It starts from the contract all the way through the closings. I tell you what, the ladies would tell me they get this question all the time. Who signs? Can we get a power of attorney? Can they just, even the closing, the people, the borrowers, when they come, they just want to sign, say they're signing power of attorney, they just want to sign that person's name and nothing else. I mean, it's just, it's a class in itself to educate the public on how to even sign. I mean, I had one where the wife was here, the husband was out to sea, and the parents were buying in North Carolina. So they're signing, she had to sign 3 power of attorneys and herself. And it was a first and a second loan. First time home buyer. Okay, so this closing's at least 3 hours. And no, she didn't want to sign, you know, how you're supposed to sign it. That person by that yourself, her attorney or his attorney. In fact, you have to write that out on every document.
Right.
Now, John, I'll tell you, the packages are growing, some of them, like the application, the last loan application I saw, John, was like 20 some pages when it used to be 4 pages. So, but we love the rapid close. We wish we had the rapid close on that one, but this is going to be a great class. And the agents who have attended Matt's class are really thanking us for having Matt, because Matt is a great resource for us and he takes questions at the end of the class on anything. So that's just another legal, he is an attorney, that's just another legal resource. Just like Shaheen, some people don't realize, but every month we have them on retainer. They're not for long and fuzzy. That's something that Sage provides as a legal. So every month we pay them a retainer fee. So what that means to you is if you have a question, anytime you can feel free to call them and they'll answer the question. Amanda seems to be our go-to person, and Victor Shaheen. Now, Victor says, I can call him 24 hours a day, even Christmas. No, I won't call him Christmas, but it is nice to have that resource behind us. And also our underwriters title resources with Matt. So it's just a great thing. So there'll be 2 hours PLE or 1 hour CE, but you've got to stay on the class. You just click and register and stay on, because they record the session the whole time, and then you will get your credits. So we're doing this all the way through really December, a class every Wednesday, 1 o'clock, every 3rd Wednesday, 1 o'clock. And then he said, once we get able, he'll come in person. So we can have him right to a sales meeting and maybe do a CE knockout class right then. But it's just, so that's just something we're trying to do. It's been so busy, you know, the record, it's just unbelievable. But June, I think, is going to be a little more manageable for us. We do have some cases out there that we're trying everything we can and desperately get them closed. So, but I think the lights are coming at the end of the tunnel, really. But it's just been a busy, busy time, as I'm sure, Stacia, I see you up there. You're probably pulling your hair out looking for Altas and HUDs and everything else, commission check. So it's just been crazy, but we appreciate everybody's patience. We feel that it's going to get better, only better. We have an exchange program that is out there that should help get the meat through the sausage grinder a little better. And I'm excited with Dawn Bradley coming. I hadn't heard the news. You know, I've just had my heads down getting to the next closing. You know, so I hadn't heard that, but that's exciting. And I think Long and Foster has all the tools and the resources and the superstars. Like you say, Jason, every Friday, call me, text me, whatever. I mean, not too many people have that, you know, to their disposal. So that's a tribute to y'all. So anyway, and Sharon, also enjoyed doing your Zoom class, or what was that, the launch class this month. So we got that in, and I tell you what, that's good. So my hat's off to y'all, really.
Thank you, Brian. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, and I you know, sometimes, and specifically if you don't know anything else, you know, if you're a new agent, you come right to Long and Foster. Sometimes we take for granted, you know, all of the access to support, the tools, the training, the post-license education, the continuing education classes that we get for free, and all of the support that we get from our core partners. And so this is not stuff that most other brokerages have the ability to provide. And so I just want to thank you again for all that you're doing. Really appreciate all of the support that you're offering to us. So, and John, of course, John is a rock star in his own right. Probably works about, I'm guessing, 20 hours a day. So I want to say thank you, John. Has anything changed in the mortgage business this week, other than your boss, our boss's boss?
Boss's boss. Not specifically. I wanted to mention, say thanks again to Sage Title for all they do. The whole team over there, I'd say it every time, but they're really kind of the unsung heroes of a transaction. You know, they catch a hot potato a lot of the times, and they're working tirelessly. So I can't say enough about the Sage's support. So as a reminder, I'm taking the family for a trip next week to Lake Gaston. So I'll be out of pocket starting on Saturday to the following Saturday. So I'll have coverage. So obviously, if you need something specifically or want to discuss something before I leave, just call me. But I want to remind everybody about that. Other than that, so over the Memorial Day weekend, we had a huge push from our underwriting team to get caught up on our underwriting queue. So they incentivized them heavily, and maybe they incentivized them heavily, I don't know, but they made a lot of headway on getting a lot of the initial reviews done for files. So it sounds like we are getting caught up, which is great. So operationally, things are progressing fine. We are rolling out a new platform today. I still have a conference call at 1 o'clock with the whole company does on a dual AUS system. So we are primarily a Fannie Mae system company. Most of our programs conventionally go Fannie Mae. If you don't know, there's Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are the two backers for conventional loans. So primarily we're a DU first lender, which is DU is Fannie Mae. All this to say, but Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac have slightly different guidelines, just very small, minute differences. For example, for student loan payments, if they're in deferment, Fannie Mae requires you to count 1% of the principal balance as a payment. If it's in deferment, where Freddie Mac, it's half of 1%. So there's little things like that all over the guidelines that are different. But going forward, what they're going to do is, instead of basically us having to manually choose, okay, going Fannie or Freddie, it's going to run both simultaneously for every transaction to kind of make it easier for us to decision a loan get the approval for a loan, the automated approval, without the rigmarole of changing it all over from system to system. So they've worked that out logistically to make it happen, which is great for us, and doesn't really have much impact for you guys. It's something that, that we're always working on something from the technology standpoint to make our process better. But to touch on what Brian mentioned, the loan application itself, starting March 1st, changed from the 1003, which is a uniform residential loan application, to the URLA, which is a uniform residential loan application. It's a different form completely. And it's long story short is it takes way longer to input a standard application than it did before. So before, I could input information into the standard application probably within 5-6 minutes. Okay, so that allows me to quickly, especially if I'm jumping between things, quickly pre-approve somebody. The new one, it has maybe 4 or 5 times the amount of fields, and it's a little more cumbersome. So instead of maybe doing 10 minutes to put an application for like a straightforward one, it can take as much as over an hour just to input the information, maybe a little bit less, maybe 45 minutes. But I'm just letting you know kind of how that impacts things. Is if I had a gap between appointments to input application really quick and get someone pre-approved, I would obviously do that. But instead of being able to knock it out in its entirety, I then have to kind of stop what I'm doing in the middle of an application, jump to the next thing, and then I have to come back to it. So it's just one of those things where it's the government who's tried to make things better by putting more information on the application. Has actually made things harder for everybody, all the loan officers. So that's just something going on in the background for all lenders to have to deal with. It's just something that the federal government rolled out, again, starting March 1st, that there's no way that we could have prepared for it or done anything differently. It's just more information. It's just different information we have to input. So it's just a lot of, it's more of a learning curve, I think, for everybody, just getting used to the new application setup. And then we've had changes in the applications before, but this is definitely a bigger change. So that is impacting things, and we're all kind of getting better every day with that, but just want to make you aware of it. Other than that, things are pretty stable rate-wise and rate environment-wise. Things have really stabilized. It's been kind of quiet in the last 2 or 3 weeks, honestly. We've kind of stabilized in the mid-2s for government, high 2s, low 3s for conventional. It's been like that for the last couple of weeks, which is kind of eerie because we saw a lot of volatility maybe during March and April. And then on May, it's been kind of just the same. So we're waiting to see. There was such a dramatic uptick in rates in February and March, and we kind of were expecting, hey, is this going to continue going forward through the summer as the economy improves and picks up steam? And it's kind of just leveled out. So we don't know if this is just a short-term plateau. We think it is. We think eventually the rates will continue to move up, but we don't know how long, when that will be. So we're just kind of on a riding the wave, but just coasting along right now, taking advantage of the low rates. And we don't really foresee any dip in rates. We don't foresee them going down because the economy nothing is pointing to that happening. So we're either seeing basically a continuation of where we are now and potentially a slower uptick in rates as we move along, as the economy continues to pick up steam, as employment picks up and all that good stuff. So all good things though. I'm obviously always here to help you guys. So definitely call me if you need me. I mean, emails, I'm getting hundreds of emails a day. And so I'm slower to respond. So if you need me, please call me.
Hey, John, real quick, funny. First, I don't know what you've done to your camera, but it looks like you're in a French indie film. Kind of.
Oh, really?
I don't know. Maybe
it's background on?
No. But real quick, over the weekend, I wrote an offer and forgot that I had an updated lender letter from you and used an old one. And the listing agent said, please reach out to your lender. Any good local lender will get you a letter quickly. And I was like, well, he's in the top 1%, but he also does have the family. Like, these people are a little crazy.
Well, yeah, the environment we're in right now, again, and I know you texted me on there. I think then you said, hey, I had a letter, so you're good. But I don't know if I saw a follow-up when asking for a letter, but obviously I'm here. We got to meet people where they are. So if we're having agents so picky if they're getting tons of offers and this is, hey, your letter is old, so we're going to move on to the next one. Obviously, it's not logical, but if that's what it takes, obviously there's no problem getting you an updated lender. But you're right. I mean, it's the attitudes of some agents out there. It's very interesting to see. It just reminds me of what it was like right when I started back in the beginning of 2008, but that quickly changed. But it's just crazy market when you're a selling agent, you have all the listing agent, you feel like you have all the power, and you just feel like you kind of, they're losing the empathy or the kindness. I feel like that we've had forever. And again, that's just my feeling. So anyways, yeah, I'm always here to be an updated letter, so don't hesitate to ask, but I appreciate you saying that.
I'm glad that you mentioned the word empathy, because I think that's one of the most important ingredients to being a successful anything in life, and especially someone who works with and around and for other people. You have to have a high level of empathy, and some people don't. To Soren's point, some people are very self-centered and demanding, and expect that everyone is out to get them. They're going to find a problem with anything and everything. I know, for example, I don't know if Mom's on here, but I know she's just finished up a very, very stressful transaction because the other agent was just a real Class A jerk, and attacked her personally, as being some terrible agent. And of course, you and I know that that's probably the furthest thing from the truth. But some people are so caught up in their own ego and lack of empathy, I think, that they make it really, really difficult for all of us. So you're going to run into those people. You're going to find those people, and it's unfortunate, but they are out there. And the best we can do is the best we can do to try to wrap that thing up as quickly as possible and put it to bed. And then, I'm one of those people, and I don't know if you are, but I'm one of those people that, kind of dwell and meditate on things, and things like that, they bother me, and they bother me a lot. And so it's hard for me to let it go. And I need a couple of days, to get over really emotional interactions like that. And so if you're that way, like I am, you gotta find a way to get through the transaction as best as you can, get it closed. And remember the big goal here. The big goal is to satisfy and help your client, right? Your buyer or your seller in this transaction. They are who we work for. We do not report to, nor do we work for anyone else in a transaction, be it me or any other agent or brokerage. So you work for your client and you represent their best interest, and you get through it as best as you can. So, yeah.
Jason?
Good stuff. Yeah.
I had an observation, I should say, when I'm in the listing position, that so many showing agents are thanking me for quick responses. And I don't say that for a pat on the back at all. I say that's an indicator that there are so many inept agents out there right now, or they are bogged down and not asking for help. Either way, it looks bad for their business. But the quick responses, answering phone calls, replying to text quickly as a listing agent or anything else is so key, and really actually goes pretty far in this market. I'm finding, it's just a simple reply.
No, yeah, no, you're exactly right. I think there's something to be said for, respecting someone else's time, and one way to do that is to respond, reply, get the question answered as quickly as you can. That way we're not leaving this chain of people waiting for a response. So yeah, there's definitely something to be said for that. I also wanted to bring back the idea of, drum roll please, meeting in person. So as I understand, next week, the Yorktown office is actually hosting their first in-person meeting. sales meetings since the pandemic. And so that's something that I want to talk to you guys about. I'd like to get some feedback. What are your thoughts about that? Are we still cool with Wednesdays at noon if we were to transition to an in-person meeting? Or is there a day or time that might work better? We can do anything we want to do. Obviously, there are a lot of things to be considered because we have a lot of people that are involved in that. Obviously, we want the support of our core partners, and they've got their own policies and procedures and rules that they have to abide by. But I do feel like we're getting to the place where we can start to come together again. And so I want you guys to, email us your thoughts and concerns if you have them about getting together for in-person sales meetings. It's something that I'm certainly excited about, really looking forward to getting back together. I feel like, something's missing in Zoom. As great as this is, it's not quite the same as being in the same room with one another. So definitely give some thought to that. Let us know what you think about getting back together and what day and time might work best for you. And we can compare notes with our core partners and see if we can't put something together that works for as many as possible. That being said, I also want to focus our attention back on, and Stacia, I got to commend you. You have been doing an amazing job probably for the last year and a half, managing our phone duty schedule, because it's been, kind of hit or miss. If you're available and you have time Wednesday from noon to 3 to this point, you let Stacia know, hey, I'm available Wednesday from noon to 3 and I'd like to be on duty. I'd like to do a little better job maybe at formalizing that and inviting you guys to come into the office and take that duty time, because we're coming into summer now, and there are going to be, and Marcos is always cranking out the pizzas.
Yeah.
So there's going to be opportunities to pick up those clients who happen to be sitting in the parking lot waiting on their pizza. There's going to be an opportunity to answer the phone at just the right moment when some high-end seller calls looking for an agent, which is exactly what happened yesterday. So it's a 475 potential listing, as I understand it, and she simply called the office yesterday. So I'd like to invite you guys to give some serious consideration to coming in and participating in a more formalized way for phone duty or duty time or opportunity time, as they call it.
We currently have one agent who actually comes in the office on a regular basis.
Yeah.
And he comes, he does Tuesdays and Thursday mornings from 9 to 12. So every other time is perfectly available to come in the office and undo the phones and answer away, because we get lots of phone calls. Dudley can attest to that because he gets 1,000 text messages from me on 156 Collins Road.
Yeah. So you guys, please consider, create a schedule for yourselves. I'm not your boss. I can't insist that you're here, but create a schedule for yourselves and set aside some time to come in and position yourself to be in the right place at the right time, right? I think that's a really great idea. I'd love to see that evolve into what it was before the pandemic. So, I also want to get back to, so pre-pandemic, what we were doing is once a month, the office would treat any birthdays and or Long and Foster anniversary recipients for that month. And so I really am excited about doing that. That was always a lot of fun. And so I can't wait to treat you guys to Buffalo Wild Wings, because it's my favorite place and I'm paying for it, so I get to pick it. But if it's your birthday or your Long and Foster anniversary, the office will provide lunch for you that day. And as many as can fit are invited. So everybody's invited on these days to help us celebrate the birthdays and anniversaries. But the office will pick up the tab for those for those people who are celebrating in that month. So that's always something that I really, really, really enjoy. So please make sure that we know when your birthdays and anniversaries are. Stacia, I know you have a list.
I do.
I used to have it up here, but we've grown so much since then. So there's probably a lot more birthdays that I don't know about.
There's a few more anniversaries too.
Yeah, and a few more
I
anniversaries.
just to
Yeah.
go back on that duty schedule real quick.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to sit duty on a day that I'm not there, which would be, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'll be there tomorrow to show people how to undo and redo the phones and let you guys see what you need to do so that you can sit down and take the calls when I'm not there. Because if not, they all come to me anyway. So
Yeah.
I forward them.
And we could have a really, organized schedule. We actually have a new phone system. We just haven't implemented it yet, but we have it in place. And it can forward calls and text calls, and I mean, it's pretty robust in what it can do. We just have to get to the point where it's implemented. And so please, yeah, take advantage of the, 100 hours a week that we have these phones available to you guys. Also wanted to talk about, before we get any further, I wanted to, let me pick up my pen, sorry. Okay, so we had a new agent join us this week, and I just want to say a special shout out and a welcome to Mr. Shane Hernandez. Shane Hernandez, he passed the test last week. Really, really excited to have Shane join our family. Very excited to have him on board. I wanted to say welcome to him. Thank you for being here, Shane. Appreciate you, dude. Big things are on the way. Also wanted to talk about maybe some success stories and success stories in general, but specifically around open houses, because summer is upon us. And if last week's open house at Eden's listing is any indication, this is going to be a great summer for open houses, because I had personally never seen so many people in one house at the same time as was at Eden's listing last weekend. So Randall hosted that. It was Eden's listing, and by all accounts, it was a huge success. And so I think that open houses is someplace that we need to be focusing our attention this summer. Preferably it'll be one of our listings. It doesn't necessarily have to be, as long as you get permission from the listing agent. So I know some agents will go, maybe to a Long and Foster South Side or Long and Foster Peninsula agent and say, hey, I noticed you got this listing. Can I hold it open? Right. Obviously, it's a little complicated because things are selling so quickly right now. But if you guys, knowing that open houses are a big deal and a great way to find new potential buyer clients, unrepresented buyer clients, when you take a listing, plan to have that open house. So for example, I have a past client from 4 years ago, called a couple of weeks ago. We're going to list their house on Friday, and we're having an open house on Sunday. So because I did that intentionally, we're going to list on Friday, open house on Sunday, and we'll ratify something on Monday. But that Sunday open house is a great opportunity to pick up some unrepresented buyers and or potentially neighborhood sellers. And so be thinking like that, be thinking strategically when you're taking a listing, because even if you don't personally want to or care to set the open house, there are other people who will, and it could be a boost for all of us. So good stuff there. Any comments around that? Any success stories? Anybody got anything to add to that conversation? And that's a no. So, all right, I want to show you guys something. I'm gonna share my screen real quick. So let's see. Yeah, okay. So this is, you guys know I've been preaching about direct mail for a long time, so I just want to share this with you. I started farming in one subdivision of homes, about 840 homes, in all back in 2014. Up until December of 2020, I only did direct mail 3 times a year on my farm, but I did a major 4th of July event every year, was always at my open houses, and used lots of signage and offered extreme value to my sellers. In 2014, he listed 3 properties, 2015, 13, then 16, then 22, 22, 25, and most recently 37 listings in this one farm area. He said, in 2020, I pulled in almost $500,000 in GCI. And then in December 2020, I changed my position on direct mail. So it's been 7 weeks since I started doing the following: 1 mailer to my farm area every 10 days. I've had 7 appointments leading to 4 listings, with the 5th one being coming up in June, and the other 2 will be later this year. So just a shout out, to obviously to Harold Frink. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. But this was on a Facebook group that I belong to. Wise Pelican is a direct mail company, and just phenomenal results. And it speaks to consistency, right? It speaks to the long game. I haven't figured out how to get into real estate and get rich quick. I haven't found that easy button, as hard as I have tried. It's about relationships, and it's about a long-term commitment to serving those in your community. And I think this is one of the best ways, least expensive ways, to keep your name in front of those potential buyers and sellers. If you're shopping for buyers, obviously you're going to mail to renters, right? Lord knows we got enough apartments around here. If you're shopping for sellers, obviously, or if you're soliciting for sellers, you're gonna mail to homeowners. But I just thought this was such a powerful display of consistency and branding himself and being in it for the long game. Who wouldn't like $500,000 in GCI? Good Lord, man. I know I would. So I hope you would too. Cool. Any thoughts, comments, or contributions? I was going to say concerns, but I changed it to contributions right at the last minute. So, all right, guys. Good to see you. Don't everybody speak up at once.
This
Yeah.
is something I have to learn. I got to understand it.
Yeah.
So this was through Moxie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you create like a whole group of people, and then you shoot emails and information to them like every so often, right? I got it right?
Yeah. So we've got like the neighborhood news or other campaigns that you can just turn on and let it go. Yep. So, yeah.
If I
So
could
Moxie Engage is where you want to look for that type of information. In fact, let me do something else, guys, while I got your attention. Undivided, uninterrupted, exclusive attention. While I have that, let me go over to here. So when I go into the Long & Foster SharePoint site, because I was here before the servers crashed, I still go to cafe.lnf.com. Okay. So this is how I get into the intranet, not internet, but intranet of Long & Foster. This is where your agent statements are. This is how you access your website portal. This is where you buy cool swag and clothes and stuff like that, if that's what you want. But also, and I know Shane was having a little trouble navigating this yesterday, and so I just went back to confirm that I know where things are. And so if you can see this page here, and you look to the top left where the little, I don't know what they call that thing. It looks like 3, 6, 9 little dots in the top left corner, right there. If you click on that, one of the apps you should see is Stream. Okay. And Stream is where all of the video training is housed. So in this platform called Stream, you can create your own dashboard of training channels, if you will. So each one of these squares is referred to as a channel. And inside of each channel then is, which you can choose to follow or just go in there and you know, tear through it. But inside each one of these channels is a training series. For example, the new and transfer. Well, there's, you know, let's see if we click into it. So we click inside that channel, and here are the trainings that have been set aside or placed into the new and transfer agent channel, right? Email signatures, agent website, Foster. You get to the bottom of the page, you click on show more, introduction to Foster. Here's some Gary Scott. Here's business planning, sphere-based selling, which is probably, you know, all of us need this. So it just goes on and on and on, guys. And so each one of these channels is a different series of content. And so that's what I wanted to make sure that you know how to access this video training. And hopefully Shane can see this and he'll figure it out. But it is all here for you guys. So if you have any problems, obviously don't hesitate to reach out. But this thing is absolutely huge. This library of content that we have in the Stream. So that's how you get to it.
Jason, if I could add a tip for those that are new and or just using their Moxie Engage for drip marketing, because I learned it the hard way. I think I whined to you. When you start using Moxie, what are there 6 colors for groups? Like red, orange, purple, whatever. Yeah. Decipher, you know, figure out what those groups are for you. Mine are buyers, sellers, past sellers, and renters. Come up with that code so that every time you enter a new contact, make sure you assign them a group so that when you do go over to the campaigns to start the drip marketing, because that's something you have to do manually. I didn't learn that. You have your groups already set up. So you can, you know, if the campaign is holiday greetings, then you'll pick everyone, you know, that you have. If it is a seller's tailored campaign, then you would pick the color that you chose for sellers, and that would go out to everybody categorized as seller. Anyway, just do it as you input your people, because I was already 1,000 people in when I realized that's what you had to do. And it took me 3 days to update that stuff. So
No, that's a great reminder. Great reminder. Please, please, please organize your database in groups, and you can create as many custom groups as you want. You know, so whatever you want to name it, you name it that, and you put your people in there, because when you subscribe them to a campaign, whatever it happens to be, you want to subscribe the entire group instead of going through and individually subscribing 1,000 people, because that's going to take you 3 days. So, oh man, good stuff there, bro. Good stuff. Thank you guys. And we'll close it out with that. But thank you all for being here. Really, really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. We are absolutely on the grow, always looking for good people to bring on board. So thank you to our core partners. We will start thinking about and planning for our trip to Top Golf.
Yes.
That is going to be a blast. I'm thinking September. September sounds good in my mind. So we'll see if we can't get that organized and give everybody plenty of time to get it on their calendar. So
John didn't give us a mortgage update.
who, Don?
John didn't.
Yeah, he did.
He did?
Yeah.
I only heard him talk about his brother.
No.
Man, was I just talking to myself the whole time? That's
You
weird.
must have
no,
been.
we
I
are.
heard you.
I might have been interrupted, but I swear I did not hear you say any numbers.
Do you want me to do it? I can call you Stacia just for you. I'll redo it.
We're good.
Being recorded, so you can listen to the
I'll just
recording
play
later
it back
too.
later.
There you go.
I really really only heard you
Yeah.
talk. I must have gotten interrupted. I love my house.
No, he was talking about the whole Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac kind of a thing, and they got this
Oh,
new.
I heard
I
that.
fell asleep because it's so boring.
Might have. No, I'm kidding.
14 pages now.
You're
and-
usually the only one I listen to. It's Jason I sleep on.
Ah, damn.
Oh, oh,
No.
oh.
All right, y'all. Bye.
Yeah.
All right. Have a good day,
Bye.
guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.